Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Arrtx was kind enough to send me their Simptap markers to try out, so today we're going to test their 48 set. And I actually really love the box that it comes in. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like this glittery color, and it's not like that nasty glitter that rubs off on your fingers. It's like embedded in. It's very nice. These are what the markers are looking like. So these are not ready to go markers, these are pumping markers, so you do have to prime the markers before you use them. Arrtx also sent me their sketchbook to try out as well. When I opened the sketchbook, I did notice that it was broken. Is that the right word to use? It's not broken, but the cover is kind of bent. Like when I open it, you can tell that it's not all the way attached to the first page, so it has like this warpy look to it, which doesn't affect like the function of the sketchbook, but it is like super ugly to look at. I rearranged the markers myself in order because I didn't like how random they were, but these markers don't have that little tin at the bottom of it like the ready to go markers do. So even though I rearranged the markers in an order that I preferred, they did get out of order again because, you know, they weren't stuck in place. Here you can see me priming the markers. You're supposed to shake them and then pump them a couple times and then put the cap back on and shake them some more. And I did notice that the ink comes out, or the paint comes out a lot right after you pump it. It's pretty juicy, freshly pumped. Once you're using it for a bit, like it wasn't as bad, but it did drip a lot. Okay, so I don't want to admit how long it took me to just swatch all of these markers. It took a really long time to shake them and get them pumped and loaded into the cap. And yeah, I'm not a fan of the pumping markers so far. As you can see by my swatch sheet, they're really messy. They kind of drip when you're pumping them. I tried to pump them over their cap so it would fall into their cap, but still some would just leak out of the sides and drip all over the paper. Also, they're super juicy. I don't know if that's how they are in general or if it's just because they're fresh and I just pumped them for the first time, but it is so much paint like got onto the paper and I had to like smear it around to get the swatch. Instead of like coloring the circle, I had to smear around the circle. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if I was painting with these for the first time, that would not have been fun. It would have messed up my drawing. Another thing that I'm noticing, the markers have this little, oh my god, I just got paint on myself. The markers have this little cap on it so that you don't accidentally pump the marker when you're not using it, but the cap doesn't fit on, oh wait, yeah, no, the cap doesn't fit on there. It just kind of, you gotta push it on there really hard, and then when you take it off, that comes off, so that doesn't fit on the cap, but it fits on there pretty well. So you put this on so that you don't accidentally press it, and you gotta take this off to put this on. I don't know, because it really, hold on. Yeah, it just doesn't really fit. I don't know if I like that. I don't think I like that at all. Another thing I will say is those little bottom pieces pop off all the time. So when I would take a marker out of the box, it would be missing that little plastic piece on the end and be lost somewhere in the depths of the box that I can't reach. And then it makes it really hard to try to put the marker back in. So I've had to take out like multiple markers at one time to try to get that stray cat piece so that I could put the marker back in the box. So I might just end up tossing all of them because I don't think that I need them. But yeah, no, that was a little irritating, I'm not gonna lie. Another thing I noticed with these markers, they are really juicy. I think they are juicier than their ready to go markers. Probably because these markers are supposed to be able to work on a handful of different surfaces, so they need to be juicier. But the downside of that is they take so long to dry. At least compare it to their ready to go counterpart markers. They take a long time to dry. So I don't know if you can see the carnage on my hand, but yeah, I would accidentally like stick my hand in paint like more often than you know, if I were using the other markers. I do think the dry time is comparable to like actual paint from a tube, but yeah, no, there's something I noticed. Right now I'm just doing some tests, getting a feel for the markers and how they work. I think that they work on paper pretty nice. Besides the drying time, the drying time, I don't have much to say about them. They work really well. I did notice that the lighter colors are super transparent though. The darker colors layered fine, but the lighter markers, like you see I just have like a pink pencil that I sketch in. It would not cover up those lines. So that is also another thing to keep in mind. Right now I'm doing a thumbnail for the final piece that I'm going to do. I actually have like a wood block that I bought that we're gonna paint on to try it out, because on the advertisement page it does say that you can use it on wood. It doesn't say it in the description, but it has a picture in the product listing that shows that you can use it on wood, so I got super excited with that. I'm just transferring my sketch over from the sketchbook onto the wood block. There's nothing special about what I'm doing right here. I went over in the pink first, and then I went in and finalized most of the lines with a blue color pencil. Now, here is where my rant begins. Remember how I was just saying that the lighter colors are super transparent? Well, it did not take to the wood at all. The wood was just soaking it up. I don't know if it's because the wood is just so porous, or a combination of the wood being porous and the fact that the lighter markers had like no opacity to them. But I was struggling so hard, and then like the texture of the wood was making the markers dry out super fast. I don't know if you can see me like struggling with the paint. I had to shake it so much, I had to pump it so much. It took me forever to do these coats. I had to do so many coats of this cream color to get it to show up nicely. And you'll see I go over it and over it and over it, and you know, I still could have gone over it more, but the marker was like running low. It was on its last legs of life, but I'm over here just fighting with this marker. I'm like, please don't run out. I had to clean the nib a handful of times, like squeeze all of the paint out of it to get it to try to get it to work again. And then so it would work for a little bit, and then like I don't know if the wood was clogging it up or if it was just drying it out, but it would stop working again, and I had to rinse and repeat that process all the time. I switched over to a white marker because I thought that the white marker would work as like a primer almost on the wood, and then I can just color the cream over it. And I think that helped a little bit. I also was just trying to save the last of the paint in the cream marker so that I could, you know, properly finish the piece. But man, you can see that the white marker was having an issue too. It was a mess. I'm not gonna lie, it was all a mess. So after coats and coats, it started to look good. My hand was like hurting by the end of doing the cream because I had to fight with this marker so much to get it to try to look like something. I didn't have these same issues with the darker colors. It was just these lighter colors that would not take to the wood. But once I had enough layers, it was starting to build up and become like easier to cover a space, but it still was like what's the word I'm looking for, like soaking into the wood. So finishing up all of that cream color, it took me, I want to say like almost two hours of footage I had trying to get that marker to work and like do all of those coats. It took me a while, and then by comparison you can see me just breezing through these darker colors. They lay on so nice. I did 2 coats of the brown and I only went in with 1 coat of the blue. Since I had to cover like so much area with the blue marker, that one also did start to dry out, but I didn't mind the wood texture showing through the blue background. I actually think it looked pretty. That obviously was not supposed to be like that, but I do think that it looks cool, so I will give it a pass. You can see it like starting to get like really streaky, but I only did the 1 coat of the blue. I was not trying to deal with it anymore, honestly. And then I just went over it with my Tombow, I believe this is a hard nib line art marker. I mean, it wasn't until I was like recording this or like looking over the footage that I realized that her elbows are different lengths, like her arms are different lengths, and it looks kind of crazy. But don't pay too much attention to it because there's nothing I can do about it. I ran out of the cream marker, so I can't go in and fix it. So it's just gonna have to be like that. I did not like how the mouth was turning out, so I tried to go over it with the skin color again, but it kept drying so dark, and so I tried to like blend it out into the face, and no matter how hard I tried, it's still, you can still tell that it looks different there, but it's fine. And you guys know that I normally do not like the metallic markers, but I actually liked this one. The color laid on really well, and it wasn't like super silvery like some other brands of metallic markers can be. It was a very nice gold color. It was actually, yeah, I actually really enjoyed using this one. It's probably my favorite marker out of all of the ones that came in the pack, honestly. So I'm just adding in her little jewelry details, and then I go in and add some sparkles. But this is what the final piece is looking like. I think through all of my struggle, it still came out pretty good. I think it looks really, really pretty. I have it up like on my wall right now. I think it looks really good. But for my final thoughts on these markers, do I like the Simptap markers? Do I recommend the Simptap markers? I do not think that I like them. I think that they worked really fine in the sketchbook, but they did not work really well on this wood. And the markers are advertised to work on a bunch of different surfaces, and like I said on the product listing, it did have wood as something that you could paint on. But I think that since the wood is so porous and it soaks up the paint so much, that these markers are not good for wood. I don't think they're good for wood. I don't know if I was supposed to prime it first. I didn't think that I had to, but that could be, you know, a reason why it wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it to. So maybe I did have to put like a coating on it before I went in with the markers, and that would have gave me a more pleasurable experience. But as for other materials, I don't know. I haven't tried them on any other materials. If you're interested in seeing me try it on something else, I do still have the markers. We can try them on a different surface. But yeah, no, I didn't really like it. I didn't really like using them. I think that they were fine when I was just using them in the sketchbook itself, but they do have a longer drying time than the ready to go markers. So they just got smeared around easier than the other ones. So I don't necessarily recommend it just for doing sketchbook work either. So I would really have to see how they would fare on those other surfaces. But yeah, I'll let you guys decide for yourselves if you want to get them or not. The links for them will be in the description if you are interested. And then also check out their other lines of markers as well. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.